Welcome back to the So Far So Good podcast. My name is Christopher Coombs, and in front of me we have
Gaurav Khazanchi. Welcome back to the So Far So Good podcast. In front of me we have
Christopher Coombs.
Alrighty, Chris.
I didn't expect that one. You caught me off guard there.
Yeah, I know. I thought I'd change it up a bit and do a double intro.
Yeah, wow.
So let's kick it off with our introductory questions.
As usual, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I'll go first.
All right. Sure.
This actually came up while talking about some other stuff last episode, but I thought I'd note it down and just ask you this week.
Okay.
Do you know, or this is a pre-question, by the way, do you know or have you seen the movie The Purge?
No.
Do you know what it is, what it's about?
Nah.
Oh, man. Okay, well, I'll do a quick explanation. The basis of the movie, there's quite a few, is that there's one day in the year, or one night, where any crime is legal. And
Okay.
the reason they do it is because it's cut down crime like by 90-something%.
Really?
So they allow anything, murder, theft, whatever sort of crime, one night, it's legal.
One night a year?
One night a year, yeah.
Okay.
So it's called The Purge because that's when people purge. So if you were in The Purge, would you purge or would you hide?
Oh, wow. Yeah,
I mean,
oh.
Any crime. You don't have to go extreme to murder, but I mean, that's legal. If you want to, I might judge you, but...
Nah, I wouldn't murder or attack anyone in any kind of way. I'm just trying to think of maybe theft. Maybe steal some money.
Steal some money.
From like a real big company, because it won't be too, it won't affect them too much.
Well, in the movie, there's like major security things that people buy, and it literally like walls up their houses or businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
So would you plan it and then execute your theft, or just give it a shot?
Oh,
give it a
man.
crack?
Honestly, I think I'd probably hide and do the security thing.
Yeah.
I don't
would
think I could live
definitely
with
hide.
myself.
Yeah, even though it's legal.
Even though it's legal, it's still hurting someone in some way.
Exactly. And it's just
whether
not
it's
morally
physically
right.
or, they're losing something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. What would you do? You would
I would
hide as
definitely
well?
straight up hide.
Really?
Exactly the same reasons.
It's a bit soft.
Couldn't... what you just said. The
You
same
didn't even
thing.
consider.
Well,
At least
I'm-
I considered stealing.
Yeah, but I've thought about it before I asked you, so I've
Okay.
had my consideration.
And what
of
did you
it.
consider?
I mean, like, yeah, what would I do if... I just feel like being outside on that night would be dangerous. You'd probably just die. Because people will
mass
just be killed.
murderers and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Check it out. There's quite a few now. There's quite a few.
Yeah.
The
Might
Purge
check it
movies. Yeah.
All right, my question for you is a would you rather?
Oh, your good old would you rathers.
Yeah, so, okay. It's a bit hard to explain, but let's give it a go.
Okay.
So would you rather, so your first option is you can only have one glass of water per day and you can't drink any other liquids
Okay.
ever,
Yeah.
or you can only have one bowl of plain rice per day and not eat any other food.
I'm going to have to go with eat rice.
Eat rice?
Yeah.
And then you can drink anything.
Yeah. I'll tell you why.
Interesting.
Because for a long time now, I've definitely been having about 2 litres of water a day.
Okay.
And I don't think I could survive with just one glass of water.
Yep.
And our bodies are 70
Yeah,
to
that makes
80%
sense.
water, you know?
Yeah.
So,
That's why I saw it as such a dilemma.
yeah.
Because if it was straight up like food or drink,
Yeah.
I would straight away go, oh, I want to be able to eat different foods. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to just eat rice. Like I can live with just drinking water.
Yeah.
But then it's only one glass of water, so it's a bit tougher.
Exactly. And because in this reason, I can drink anything, well then, yeah, I can drink as much water as I want. So I feel like day to day, I get more thirsty than I get hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
true. That's true.
That's my reasoning. That's a solid question.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I'll go the
water.
one bowl of
But you'll have to live
one
off
bowl
rice.
of rice a day. Yeah, I could do that.
I mean, but you do about like 5 meals a day.
Yeah, but if, you have to,
Yeah.
you'd get used to it, I think.
Yeah, I guess so.
They do it on Survivor.
Amongst other things, I mean,
Yeah, so
they
if
probably get fed off camera.
They don't get fed off camera. So if I ever go on Survivor, it'll just be like,
It'll just be
would
that.
you rather? Done.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
questions
That's
asked.
right. And you'll have enough water, so good stuff.
All right, now we do have a topical episode, so let's get into it.
It's not topical. So far, so good. So there's been a lot of car talk recently, and I wanted to bring up one thing specifically because it's made a very positive impact on my life, and you actually are responsible for this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, this is something that you and your brother Tim introduced to me a long time ago. And do you have any idea what I'm talking about, by the way?
No idea so far.
It's probably one of the best car games ever.
Oh, Spotto.
Yeah. When I say car games,
Got
I'm
it.
not talking about not Fast and Furious, Need for Speed or Forza or whatever. I'm talking about a game you play when you're in the car with people and you're either driving or passengering, whatever.
Yep.
And it's called Spotto, like Chris said. Now, do you want to explain how Spotto works?
Spotto, yeah, absolutely. So Spotto is a game that you play in the car. You need at least two people.
Yeah, you can't play by yourself.
You cannot play by yourself because there has to be a winner.
There has to be a winner and there has to be a witness.
Yep. So the way it works is if you see a yellow car that is not a taxi or doesn't have any sort of company branding on it whatsoever,
Yeah.
so it needs to be a plain yellow car, you need to be the first one to yell out Spotto, and then you get 1 point.
Exactly.
Now, the reason it's so hard is because if you haven't played the game, you probably wouldn't know, but surprisingly, there's barely any yellow cars on the road.
Yeah,
And when there are yellow cars, it's either a taxi or like a company branded car.
exactly.
So it's actually quite a tough game.
And I think amongst, the small group of us that do play it consistently, I think we've said the car has to be like 80% yellow. 85, if there's, a racing stripe on it, it's okay.
Yeah.
But
But
it
there
has
can't
to
be
be-
branding.
It can't be branding.
And it needs to be, I think it was maybe more than 60% yellow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, as long as
So like
it's
if
you look
the
at it, it's a
bonnet
yellow
happens
car.
to be black, because, the person couldn't find a yellow bonnet, yeah. As long as 60% of the car is yellow. Now, we actually played this going to the airport once,
Yes.
with a group of friends, right?
We were it was a full car, 5 people.
Yeah, so the airport is between an hour to an hour and a half from where we live, depending on traffic. Now, in that time, I reckon we called out about 12 Spottos in total. So that just shows how tough the game is. And
Exactly.
you really need to be paying attention because you never know when it's going to come.
And it's also harder for the driver himself because, they have to pay attention to driving in the road. So they can't always be on top of the spotters.
Exactly. And I was the driver, but I still managed to win.
And you know what? I think one of the best rules of the game is if you accidentally call out to a taxi or something, it's not just bad luck. You actually lose a point.
Yeah, exactly. So
And-
you have to be careful.
And you can't say the word at all. You can't just fake someone out. Otherwise, that's also a loss of a point.
Yep.
So I recommend everyone to try this game out. It's a great game.
Yeah, solid game.
Spotto.
There's also another game, which I introduced to you,
Yes.
which is called...
Well, I don't know what the actual name is, but I call it I'm Going to the Party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the name of the
basically.
game?
I guess so. I'm going to a party. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so you and Caitlin introduced to me, once again, another massive positive impact.
Now, this game, right? So you need to play with, I would say, at least 4,
I'd
to
say
be honest.
minimum 4. Yeah,
If
3
you have
too little.
3, two less. So let's say minimum 4.
Yeah.
Now, the way it is, the first person starts and they say, I'm going to a party and I'm going to bring, and then they say something. So let's say I say I'm going to bring a carrot,
Yeah.
right? Then everyone goes in order, like clockwise, and says they're going to bring something to the party. Now, the person who started has created some sort of sequence which the other people don't know about.
Yep.
So let's say my sequence is the next word has to start with the last letter of the previous word.
Yep.
So if I said carrot, the next word would need to start with T because
Yep.
that's the last letter. But you don't tell the group. So then as it goes through, you just say stuff and then people have to try and catch on.
Yeah. So
And-
let's say I said I'm going to the party and bringing an eggplant. Chris will be like, sorry, you can't come to the party. And now I have to figure out why can't I come to the party?
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm like, maybe the rule is they all have to be vegetables.
Yeah,
But I
and then
was
it
wrong.
goes, and then it goes round, and generally the first round would be no one else would get it. It would come back to me who started, and then I would say, okay, now I'm going to bring a tambourine
Yeah.
of all things, and then people have to try and figure out how they're going to come to this party.
Yeah.
And it works really good because generally like someone will catch on real early. And then a few more will catch on, and then there's always one person that just doesn't get it.
And the pattern, as long as it's a pattern, it can be anything. Anything. Doesn't have to be word related, it can be anything.
Yeah, so it could be you have to scratch the left side of your head when you say the word, or
Exactly.
something like that.
It can
Could
be-
be
yeah.
anything.
And it's a great game, and I'd recommend it for long drives because it is one of those time-consuming games. But also, highly recommend Spotto, Spotto, and I'm Going to the Party. IM space GOING space THE space PARTY.
Yeah, solid games. Very solid games.
Yeah.
Now, the actual bulk of our topic today is going to be around cars.
Yeah.
Now, we understand that not everyone is that into cars.
Yeah.
But, as usual, for the So Far So Good episodes, you don't need to be into it.
Yeah.
Because we have stories to tell. We've got facts to give, and then we've got opinions to be shared.
Exactly. And that's what the So Far So Good podcast is all about. Our experiences in our life.
Over a lifetime of bromance.
Exactly
Sent to the public?
That's
How did
not,
we...
That's not in the. It's not in the.
But
description.
remember, we ended up thinking it would be cool? A lifetime of bromance publicized, or something like
Did we ever
that.
discuss that?
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. Let's keep it.
Yeah. Basically, it's a lifetime of bromance exposed to the public.
Exposed to the public.
So, we're gonna start with a couple of interesting car stories that we've had.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna move on to what are the most sort of popular car brands, and then what we think about those.
Yeah.
So, I might start this one off and tell you of the first time I drove a car.
Okay.
Now, the first time I drove a car was when I was 15 years old.
Oh.
Because my brother is 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
So he was 18 at the time and he'd got his license.
Yeah.
Right? So we were just at the shops one night, just driving around. You were actually there in the back seat.
I was just about to ask, was I there?
You were
And
there.
I remember this very vividly.
So it was the three of us,
Yeah.
my brother and us two. You were in the back and then my brother said I could drive the car in the car park, right?
Yeah.
Now, I got in the driver's seat, kept my foot on the brake, and then, I didn't know anything. I didn't know how hard to hit the accelerator, how hard to hit the brake,
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah.
So I literally just took my foot off the brake. And you know when you take your foot off the brake and the car just starts rolling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what I should kind of do, right? I only knew, roughly of, how it works in games. Like, you press the accelerator, you press the brake.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah. And
Right?
you obviously turn.
Yeah.
You'll just go straight.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I just let my foot off the brake. I didn't accelerate or anything. I just let it roll. And it starts rolling a fair bit. If it's your first time in the car, you're like, whoa, it's actually going.
It's going, yeah.
And then my brother was like, okay, now hit the brake. And I didn't know how hard to hit it at all. Like, I just knew what I'd played in games and stuff like that. So I just absolutely slammed the brake as hard as I could. And the car just goes...
And me, not probably having my seatbelt on, went flying into the seat.
Yeah, and you literally smacked your... Didn't you smack your head on the window?
No. I smacked my head on the headrest of the seat in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I thought he was just going from the one car park to the next park. So 10 meters.
Yeah.
Which he did, but...
Which I did, but I didn't know, how hard to hit the brake. So I just absolutely slammed it. So now I know if I'm ever... So if I'm ever going to teach someone how to drive a car, so because I know from my experience, I'll tell them, look, you just need to be nice and smooth with it.
Yeah.
Because, if you've played games in the past, it's just... You hit one button to accelerate,
Yeah.
or you hit one button to brake. There's
Because-
no
there's no-
in between. It's
Exactly.
just, you press it or you don't.
Because on the controllers, you have to... It's either pressing the button or not pressing the button, so you can't softly press the
Yeah.
brakes. Yeah.
So I literally had no idea how it worked,
Yeah.
and then that just happened.
And then he learned.
And then you smashed your head, and then I learnt how to
Yeah.
drive smoothly after that.
Exactly. And it wasn't a painful smash. I mean, it was a safe mistake.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It was just... And also, just to be clear, you can only drive when you're 16 in Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why it was a big deal.
Yeah, it was illegal as, bro.
I mean, I think 90% of people have done it.
Oh, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. And technically, it's not illegal if you didn't get caught.
Yeah, exactly. We could just be making up this story.
Yeah, exactly.
Prove it.
Yeah. We just made it up for the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. If any cops are listening. It's just a story.
Imagine there is a cop listening and then they go back to
The security
however long
footage
ago,
of that time.
21 years ago.
What?
No, 11 years ago. Shit,
Dude,
I'm
I
not
know
that
you're
old.
30, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, okay, let's say they go back, 11 years ago, look at the CCTV. Wow,
Yeah.
that'd be funny as.
Yeah.
They
But
do all that
want-
just for a $200 fine. Ridiculous.
Is that all it is?
Probably, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, they can't take your license off you because you don't have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, good driving story. My first time driving was in my sister's car, but I was also 15. And
Wow,
I was
rebel.
after that. I also did it once unsupervised. So I actually drove a car to a very nearby place
Yeah.
and then came back home.
Oh, that reminds me of a story, right?
Tell me.
Okay, so my birthday's in April. So when we were in our last year of high school, I was able to get my license.
Yes.
But you couldn't get your license till the following January.
Yeah.
Right? So I used to just drive us around everywhere.
Exactly.
You had your L's, so you knew how to drive, so
Yeah.
it was all fine. I remember I picked you up from school once, and then we drove through to like the next court.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, do you want to just like drive home just to have a drive, like without having to have your supervisor or whatever? Because it's a different feeling, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different feeling.
Yeah.
And I remember you started driving my car out of like that court. And then as we get out to the court onto like the main road, I see my parents walking down the street. And I was like, dude, go, just go. And thank God they didn't look.
They didn't see.
Because I was actually driving their car at the time.
Yeah.
So if they knew that I illegally let you drive, oh man, they would have killed me.
All hell would have broken loose.
Do you remember that?
I remember that.
That was freaky.
I didn't know whether to listen to you or just stop and come out and confess. But it was a very scary moment. Probably, the adrenaline probably made it even less safe. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're just making up these stories for the podcast, officer.
No, but I'll tell you how, like, they would have actually lost it at me. So when I was, like, 18 and younger, basically when I was high school, they were, like, kind of strict-ish about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, naturally.
Because I remember once, I was riding my bicycle home from school. I had my helmet on and everything, but I had the buckle unbuckled. So I had, you know, the little thing that goes under your chin.
Like the cool kids
The
that have it
strap.
unbuckled.
Yeah, I had that unbuckled. And my dad drove past, and then he confiscated my bike for a week.
Wow.
And I was like, are you serious?
Look, to be fair, what's the point in wearing a helmet if it's going to fly off your head?
Well, it might not. But that's what I'm saying. Like, even just that. Like, I actually had the helmet on. Imagine he saw me letting you drive their car illegally.
Dude, he would have taken your license off you.
He would have flipped it.
Yeah.
So,
good times, great classic.
I hope he hears this.
Oh, Uncle Coombs, you got this. So I wanted to talk about my first car ever, legally acquired, of course. I bought it, was very happy. Very soon into it, I realized, because I bought it was a second-hand car. You buy it off car sales. You get it from a private seller, and it was all good. The guy was amazing, but a couple of weeks in, I was like, my car's fairly bouncy. So when I took it to the mechanic for my regular service, I asked him, is it normal for the car to be this bouncy? And he's like, nah, the previous owner looks like they cut the springs to lower the car. So they didn't change the springs. They had cut the springs so that the car gets lowered. And that's why the car was unnaturally bouncy.
That is not normal.
Yeah, it wasn't normal. I'm like, oh, so what do I do? He's like, well, you can get new springs. You can get lower springs if you want. It'll cost a few $100. I'm like, all right, I'll look into it later. But that car didn't last very long. It died quite soon. Yeah, good times though. Good times. I mean, everyone has accidents. I reckon having accidents, your fault or not, makes you a better driver. Because
Definitely.
you just have that experience in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I mean, I didn't mean for the story to be so sad.
Yeah, it went real sad.
I wanted to talk about the guy cutting the springs because he wanted to lower the car. But I didn't realize at the time.
It's just the most random thing. The guy probably had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah, it would have just been one of those things where you get your friends together and do something silly to your car.
And then you realize, I messed up.
Yeah, let's sell it to someone who won't realize.
Yep, they got him.
Yeah.
Fresh 18-year-old buying his first car.
Exactly.
Yeah, he'll buy it, no problems.
So
now I did mention a couple episodes ago that I got a new car.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to clear the air of why and kind of give a bit more context to that. Right? So the car that I previously had was a Holden Commodore, 2001 model. I'd had it literally since I was 18.
Yeah.
I bought it. I turned it to gas. I did everything. Like I set it up. So I saved heaps of money on fuel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But ended up being that the gas in the car made the car have more problems. So I think I still did save money when you talk about the fuel.
Yeah.
But like, just from that experience, I probably wouldn't go gas again. Just because of that. Like, you
Fair
may as well
enough.
have a healthy car that's going to last you and pay for, because petrol is what's, meant to fuel a car,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't really know that much, but I just know from what my mechanics told me. So,
Yeah.
basically, my car was stuffed at this point, right?
Yeah.
So it needed a new head gasket, which was roughly $2,000 of repairs, but then the car wasn't even worth that anyway.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, okay, this is the right time to get a new car.
Yeah.
Now, I'd looked at potentially getting a new car about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I looked quite seriously, but I never really, got myself over the edge to spend that money to actually get the new car.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I'll just run my car till it dies, sort of thing.
And then the time had come, mate.
The time had come, and then it just made it perfect timing that it's kind of forced me to get a new car, which is a good thing.
Good, it's all good.
It's a good
in the
thing.
end. Actually, really quickly, I remember that time 2 years ago when you were thoroughly looking, and I remember something that put you off so much was you had contacted a dealer literally to ask one question about the car, right?
Yeah.
And then they just kept.
Are you getting there? I don't know if this is the same story.
Okay.
But I want to chuck this story in just before you do.
Okay.
So when I was looking 2 years ago, there was an ad on Gumtree, which was a private seller.
Yeah.
This is not the same story as you were going to say.
Yeah. No, it's not.
I'll say this one first, just in case, right? So there was an ad on Gumtree of like a private seller.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Toyota Land Cruiser Prado.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I was looking at the time because I wanted like a big kind of full drive car,
Yeah.
right? So the ad. The car it was perfect because it was white, it had black wheels, it was like exactly kind of what I wanted.
Yeah.
The price was good, so I went to look at the car with about 5 people that I know because they're like real into cars. They all have Prados and everything. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like I rocked up, like we all rocked up in separate cars, and then like two of us walked up first. And then a couple more walked up, and then I can't remember how many there was in total. I think there was about 6 of us in total. But yeah, he probably thought, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And the other thing was, one of the guys was actually a mechanic at a Toyota dealership, so he had this like machine that he could hook up to the car and check the electricals and stuff.
Oh wow!
And the guy saw that and was like, "Whoa, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?"
Like what?
And then the guy started like kind of freak out a bit. But yeah, basically, the guy's house, he had like 10 broken down cars in his backyard, as if like he was like gonna do them up or something like that.
A car flipper or something.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of weird, but I guess people do it. But yeah, the car we're actually looking at, it looks good. The kilometers were fairly low. I believe it was around 150,000 at the time.
Yeah.
But the interior, which I didn't notice, one of the other guys that I brought noticed, which is why I brought them, because they knew like more than me.
Exactly.
The interior of the car was really like worn out compared to how many kilometers the car actually had.
Like the car carpet and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the dashboard and stuff like that, which it doesn't really, it can't really wear out. Like it would only be like over like lots of use.
Yeah, or just it could just be badly kept as well.
Maybe, but either way, like it doesn't really get touched, so it's strange that it got worn out. So it looked like it was probably used more than what the kilometers were. So one of the guys thought that potentially the guys faked the kilometers because the price was really good as well. It was like a couple of grand cheaper than like anything else around the same kind of range.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy, he freaked out and stuff with so many people and the machine and everything. And then he got like a phone call and he was like talking to someone. And then he was like, "Oh, like I gotta go, guys. I gotta go. I was like, this is weird. Like, don't you want to like sell this car? And I was like, can we take it for a test drive? And he's like, nah, I really got to go. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll call you later and organize like a time maybe tomorrow or something to take it for a test drive. And he's like, yeah, no worries. I just got to go. So it seemed like kind of dodgy, right?
Yeah.
And then like on the way home, because I was excited because this was like the perfect car for what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then I got home and I was like having a chat to everyone to see what they thought. And they thought like it was kind of dodgy. So I was like, and then they were telling me more about the interior, which I didn't see too much about the interior. So I went back to the ad, like to look at the photos to see if I could see what the interior actually looked like. Because I didn't get too good of a look at it. I was more looking around the outside and stuff. And then I went to look at the ad and he'd already taken the ad down.
What?
Yeah. He'd already taken it down
So
by the time we got home.
did
And
you
it
have
was
his
a
contact
5-minute
details?
drive from home. Yeah, I had his phone number and stuff. But
Wow.
it was a dodgy car, for
You
sure.
reckon it was stolen?
Either stolen or he'd faked the kilometers or
Yeah.
something.
Because that is a big issue with older cars. People take out the odometer and spin it. They
100%.
reset
100%.
it. Yeah.
And kind of after that experience, I don't feel comfortable, putting that kind of money towards a private
Private
seller.
sale. Yeah, you just
Like
never
in
know.
general.
Especially if you don't know, because I don't know my stuff that well. I mean, I know the basics, what to look at and what to look into, but yeah, I wouldn't to that detail and checking the electrics with the machine. I would have no idea.
Yeah, that's right. What was the other story you were going to say?
So it was. I thought what put you off was you had contacted a dealership about this car that you saw online, and then you asked them a basic question like, "Is it still available?" or "What's your best price?" And they wouldn't stop harassing you for the next 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So
I literally just sent them an email with a question, and then they kept calling me every single day and leaving a voicemail, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing this.
yeah, yeah.
So when I bought my new car, I found like exactly what I wanted, and it just happened to be at a Toyota dealership.
Yeah.
So it came with like extra warranty, came with a tow bar, roof racks, everything. I ended up going with a Toyota Kluger for the fact that it was bigger. You can get a better price on them, and the Prados are more geared towards like full-on forward driving, which
Like
I'm
adventure
not
stuff,
really
yeah.
gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, I may do like a little bit of basic stuff, which
Yeah.
the Klugers can do because it is all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
But it's bigger. It has the 7 seats. You can actually put all the seats down and go fully flat and actually lay down and sleep in it.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely perfect for what I wanted. And the fact it was at the dealership, good value, the perfect color.
Yeah.
It was good to go.
Just cherry on
And
top.
when I saw it, right, I actually saw it on a Saturday. My dad wanted to go have a look at it. So
Yeah.
he went and had like a quick look at it, but they were like super busy. And then we didn't end up driving it or anything. But they were closed on the Sunday because I was actually working this Saturday, so I couldn't go.
Yeah.
They were closed on the Sunday. So I actually sent them a message saying, are you guys open at 8:30 a.m.? Can I come and look at the car first thing in the morning? And then straight away a guy calls me, and I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that, because they're car salesmen,
Yeah. Yeah.
But the guy was 69 years old. He's like, look, I'm not a commission salesman. I'll just tell you what you need to know, and, it's up to you guys. And then I said, all right, I want to come at 8:30, look at it. And he's like, yeah, no worries. He said they normally have a meeting at 8:30, but he was happy to see us. So
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, all right, sure. And yeah, I was like, all right, cool. Got off the phone. And then I was like really thinking about it because I was like, what do I do? And then Caitlin said to me, if you really like this car, imagine someone else bought it before you bought it. How would you feel?
Yeah.
And then straight away I was like, all right, now I know that that's the car for me.
Yeah.
Because I thought about it and I was like, if I miss out on this, I'm not going to find anything that suits.
Yeah, like that level of
Yeah.
perfectness. Yeah.
It was like absolutely perfect.
Meant
so-
to be. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's just meant to be.
And the fact that my old car was stuffed and it just forced me to do it, and I happened to find this car at the right time. Yeah, that was it, man.
Well, you know what? It's probably good. I don't know if you've heard, but GM, General Motors, has actually shut down production of Holden.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard that recently.
So they say that, parts and whatnot will still be in the market for the next 10 years because
Yeah.
there's still, 1 point something million Holdens in Australia. So just to keep up with the repairs and stuff. But it's gonna be dead.
Yeah.
Holden's going to be dead, so it's probably good.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, like it
Because
was.
it was one of the top kind of... It's one of the most popular brands you see out.
Yeah, over here it's one of the most
Yeah.
popular. Like it was a big thing for Australia to let go of that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think we have any production cars produced in Australia anymore.
Yeah, it was foreseen about 5 or 10 years ago, though.
Was it really?
Because, I know a guy that works in one of the Holden warehouses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like looking for a new job about 2 years ago,
Wow.
just because they knew it was coming.
Yeah, because
So-
Ford didn't happen too long ago. I think they outsourced their production to another country. I can't remember which
Oh, yeah.
country, but
Yeah.
that's not Australian made anymore as well.
Yeah, wow, crazy.
Yeah, man, times change.
Did you have any other personal car stories?
Yeah, bringing up Ford, I wanted to talk about one of our favourite old cars, my old Ford.
Yes, solid
So,
car.
It's one
Can
of
I
those...
just say the best thing about that car? The front seat had 3 seats.
Exactly.
That was literally the best thing about that car.
The whole gear changing, or whatever you call it, was attached to the steering wheel. So it's one of those older sort of mechanisms where the lever is behind this driving wheel, and that's how you change it, reverse, park, whatever.
Speaking of which, my new car has a foot handbrake.
Yeah.
And it's actually really good because it saves space.
Yeah, it saves space. My Ford had a foot handbrake as well.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a pedal handbrake. I think they're great. New cars these days have a button handbrake. You press the button in the high handbrake. Yeah, it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
I'm used to pushing a pedal or pulling a lever.
You like push it or you pull the lever, and then you can actually feel the car cannot move.
Yeah, you can feel
it cannot possibly move.
Exactly.
But when you just press a button, you're like, ooh, I hope it worked.
Yeah, I hope it's on. I hope it's working.
Yeah.
But I did have a foot handbrake, so that's why there was an extra space in the middle. So I legally had a 6-seater car. Now the space was good, but it was so old, it was just slowly dying.
Do you remember what year it was?
It was a Ford Falcon. I'm gonna say 90s,
95,
late 90s, possibly 95.
Yeah,
95, 96. It was I mean, it didn't have power windows. It didn't have. I think it only had power mirrors, but yeah, nothing really. The car was falling apart, but it gave us a lot of fun. One time, I fit 11 people in that car.
Where did you drive to?
So I wasn't going anywhere. It was just, we had one of our old staff parties, and then the parking lot was kind of on the massive side skirts of the school oval. So it was just a big empty grassy area. So then I'm driving from one side of that oval to the other side, not on the oval, around the sides. And then a bunch of the people that were at the staff party just decided to come. I'm like, yeah, come, there's heaps of space.
Yeah.
Fit 11 people in the car, and I drove from one end to the other end. And then we got out. It looked like one of those clown cars in a circus where the clowns just pour out. So
and they just keep going. You're like, how did they possibly fit?
Exactly. I mean, it's just a made-up story, officer. It's just for the podcast. I did do that once, and a highlight of that car, it was an automatic car, but it would stall.
That's right. I remember that.
If the engine was cold, it would stall. If I wasn't giving it revs, it would. It was almost like it was a manual car without the clutch. So,
towards the end of the journey of that car, I don't know how you didn't ever get pulled over for unroadworthiness. Like those tires were so bald, it was ridiculous. You'd go through. We used to go through a roundabout. And it's not even turning a full corner. It's just turning like the tiniest little bit, and it would squeak.
It would squeak.
It was actually so dangerous when you think about it.
Oh, when you think about it, the poor decisions we've made in our past.
Oh, wow. Because you had that when we were working at
the fast food joint.
And the supermarket.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had, you're right. It was both.
So we used to drive about 35, 40 minutes in that car.
Yeah.
And we used to go through probably 15 roundabouts to get there. Man, that was...
Because it was a rear-wheel drive as well. It had a little bit of power to it. It was a 6-cylinder engine.
Yeah.
But...
Speaking of which, I also remember when you used to drive to the supermarket, you would always have a water bottle in your car because we'd have to leave home at like 4:30 a.m. So you'd always be splashing water in yourself on your face to get yourself to work on time.
It's true. I thought you were talking about a different water bottle because I always had a 3-litre mixture of radiator coolant. Because the radiator will always heat up. So I had that in case of emergencies.
Yeah, and that actually happened to my old car as well, which is exactly that story that I told a bunch of episodes ago.
Yes,
where I got
remember
stuck, like literally around the corner from work.
From your work, and then these old ladies helped you. It's a good
It's
story.
it's always the radiators that have some sort of issue.
Yeah. I think it's just the wear and tear of the age. It's really the age. And then also my head unit in that car died, so I had a Bluetooth speaker in there for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I experienced all types of misfortunes with that car, but it gave us a lot of joy and fun.
Yeah, it was good times. Now, your current car,
yeah.
What are your plans with that? Because we were talking with our friend Michael Daridia.
Yeah, we
recently.
did.
And he actually got a new car the same week I did. Which was a total coincidence.
Coincidence? I don't think so. Also a big SUV, so...
Yeah.
Good. Congrats, everyone, except me for not getting a new car right now. I mean, I'm on the lookout. I'm not rushing. I'm a bit more urgent now because the wear and tear is showing up in this car. I do have a Honda Civic. I love that car so much. It's given me a lot of loyalty.
It needs to go, man, I've got to say.
I know, it needs to go. The time is soon.
I mean, it's still not as bad as what the Ford was.
Yeah. But it's just there's an effort now to keep it up to scratch.
And also, your air conditioner's not quite working, is it?
Well, the air conditioner system works. My fan system isn't working.
So it doesn't get cold in the car.
So what I have to do is I have to turn off interior circulation of air and turn on exterior air. So then when I drive on the freeway about 100 k's an hour, that external air is coming in and then it's cooling the car down. But if I'm driving anywhere from 40 to 50 k's an hour, I get no air. So that's why my windows
you're
are
not
always
getting enough
open.
air in.
Yeah, I'm not going fast enough for air to come in.
Interesting.
So I've found ways around everything here. So I pretty much use the windows every day.
All right. You might need to set... You know what you should set yourself a timeline of when you're going to get yourself a new car.
All right. I'm going to say October this year at the max.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
I haven't given it any thought. I feel like I should change my mind for now.
No, that's definitely doable.
It's doable.
We're currently in March the 1st.
It's March
as
the 1st.
of recording.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, we're recording on a Sunday this time.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we go April, May, June, July, August, September, October, that's 7 months.
7 months.
Yeah.
And 7's a lucky number. You know, there was 7 Horcruxes.
Yep.
There was 7 years in Harry Potter.
Yep.
Harry Potter had 7, people take the Polyjuice Potion in the last book.
Yep.
Look, all these Harry Potter references coming back. I'm re-listening to the
7 books?
7 books, exactly. So
I think?
Yeah.
7
books, 8 movies, but it was 7th in 2 parts.
Yeah.
So that is what it is.
All right. Well, October, we'll revisit this and hopefully
revisit this in October.
See how we go.
We can do a race part 3 in our new cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we have gone quite overboard with our personal story section.
Yeah, we have.
So, unfortunately, I think we don't have time for the other parts. So, we may need to do a part 2 next week.
Yeah, we may do a part 2 or we may not. You'll just have to stay up to date next week and find out.
Yeah, and that's what, some people always ask me, what's your podcast going to be about this week? And I say, nah, you got to listen and find out. I never give any spoilers.
I think the only spoiler I gave someone once when they asked me, I said, I'll tell you one thing. It features Chris Coombs and Gaurav Khazanchi.
The other only time someone gets a spoiler is when they send in a question or something, and then I say, okay, we'll be featuring that on this episode.
If a soft soul does give some sort of input, we do tell them it's worth mentioning or it's worth not mentioning, or we've already discussed it next episode.
I do actually have a soft soul mention to put through. But I'm not going to put in this episode. I'm going to put it in the next episode.
Okay.
Because I don't like doing the mentions at the end.
Yeah.
I feel like the mention should be at the start.
At the start. Otherwise, you don't know how often or how far people listen,
Exactly.
If people are listening in the shower, before they sleep, in the car, in the train, sometimes they'll have to stop halfway.
Yep.
So you never know.
But I have also heard that listening to it as you fall asleep can be the best way to do it. Because then, when they fall asleep, they're dreaming about us.
Exactly. And I'd also like to reassure people that tell us that they do it before they fall asleep. They don't do it because they think we sound boring. They do it because they like hearing 2 people that they love listening to talk.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's a compliment.
And what better than hearing our voices just when you're doing anything?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, do you listen to the episodes, Chris?
So far, so good. Yeah, I do, definitely.
Yeah.
I've listened to our episodes at the gyms a few times.
Have you? Yeah. Does it pump you up or does it cool you down?
No, it does. It's kind of good because it like no, it's good because it kind of distracts you. Yeah. So you're just working out. You're just pushing hard, but you're actually thinking about the podcast.
Yeah.
And then because obviously when we make these podcasts, we just laugh because we're laughing at each other. Like, we just love the stories that we've been through. They're just funny. So when I'm like listening back to the podcast and then I've been like mid-set and just like started laughing mid-set. And to be honest, it's kind of dangerous. Especially like if I'm doing squats, because if you laugh, your legs just give way.
Your legs will give way, or you'll accidentally let out a fart mid-squat. That's possibly the worst thing.
And that's when you just got to hope that anyone nearby has headphones in.
Yeah, exactly.
But you do get those odd people that don't have headphones, and it's can be an issue.
It can be. I mean, yeah. one time when I did drop a dumbbell after a set, I exploded my water bottle, and everyone looked at me, and I also pretended to look around to pretend it wasn't me. It's like, oh, what was that loud noise?
Yeah, you got to do that.
I mean, I haven't listened to it at the gym yet. I will. I usually listen to, gotta say, Disney music.
At the gym?
Yeah, dude,
You're kidding me.
when I'm doing a bench press set and I'm listening to Son of Man, I am pumped. I'm like, yeah, I'm the Son of Man. I'm the Son of Man here.
Does your dad know that he's man?
Well, Tarzan knows that he doesn't know till
God.
the end. Spoilers, but
All right. Well, you know what? We'll end this here because we'll definitely be doing another episode where we tell some gym stories of not just ours but other people's stories as well. So I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It kind of didn't go anywhere near as planned.
I mean, yeah, like so far so good. You got to go with the flow sometimes.
That's always the best episodes.
Exactly.
You don't want it to be meticulously planned. You want it to just flow.
Yeah, you want there to be minimal planning and then maximum flowation.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a word.
Probably not. Yeah. But once again, we do thank you guys for tuning into the So Far So Good podcast. If you want to get in touch with us, send us some questions or just input of anything you want mentioned on the podcast. Go to our Instagram at So Far So Good podcast.
And we're always here for you. We will catch you on next week's episode.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Did you notice my arms, man?
I was going to say it looks neat.
Yeah, I trimmed them.
It?
Yeah.
Mine, look at mine.
Your arms have grown back hard from when you shaved it in Bali. Or when you waxed.
Well,
yeah.
I thought it would grow back thinner, but it's literally come back exactly the same length.
It's almost back to normal.
And I haven't.
It's only December, January. 3 months later. Wow.
Yeah, almost 4
From
months.
a wax.
It's like March now.
I suppose, yeah.
It's like 4 to 5 months. But yeah, I mean...
3.5.
It took that long to come
4 to 5 months? That's the biggest over-exaggeration ever.
Give or take.
It's December, January, February, so it's 3 and maybe a half.
There was the rest of November. So there's like half of November.
Yeah, so 3.5 then.
But then there's all of February.
Yeah, that's already considered in that.
Okay, well, I just whipped out a number. I didn't actually try and count.
Geez, you really went to 5 months. That would take us to like April,
But
May.
the point is, it's come back exactly. And I haven't trimmed it since. Maybe I'll give it a trim.
Yeah, far out. That's hectic.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, cool. Was there anything you were going to say or just saying the game?
No, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to bring up the game. I thought it was a good segment.
Yeah, solid game.
I also had written down that party game, but we don't have to talk about that.
Which party game?
That I'm going to the party. Because you also introduced that to me.
Good game.
Do you want me to bring it up, or do you reckon we'll be out of time? I reckon bring it up.
Bring it up.
Right.
There's also another game.